and they couldn't find anything wrong with me. So I went back to England and had 3 days of rigorous tests.
And I was always looking for relationships all throughout my life.
I forget certain things. Some of the old footage was quite remarkable.
Elton John just dropped a shocking revelation about Princess Diana that left everyone speechless. For decades, their friendship was admired, but now, new details have emerged, secrets only he knew. What did he reveal about the People's Princess that no one saw coming? Stick around because this changes everything. Elton John and Princess Diana, two icons from completely different worlds, shared a friendship that no one saw coming. A legendary musician and the beloved People's Princess formed an unexpected yet unbreakable bond. But how did it all begin? Their story dates back to 1981, at Prince Andrew's 21st birthday party at Windsor Castle. Elton, already a world-famous musician, had been invited to perform. The event was filled with royals and high-profile guests, but something unforgettable happened that night. The moment Diana walked in, there was an instant connection. She had a charm that made everyone feel at ease, and Elton felt it too. The two ended up dancing the Charleston together for 20 minutes straight, laughing and making fun of how dull the party was. It was a rare, carefree moment, especially for someone like Diana, who was constantly under public scrutiny. From that night on, their friendship blossomed. They shared a love for music, laughter, and deep conversations. But beyond the fun and glamour, there was something more, a deep understanding. They both knew what it was like to be in the spotlight, yet feel lonely at times. But like any real friendship, theirs wasn't perfect. And at one point, things took a turn neither of them expected. For years, Diana and Elton were inseparable, often spotted together at charity events, concerts, and private gatherings. But behind the scenes, things weren't always smooth. In the mid-1990s, a disagreement tested their friendship in a way neither of them had anticipated. It all started when Elton and designer Gianni Versace planned a charity book titled Rock and Royalty to support Elton's AIDS Foundation. The book featured stunning photography of royalty and celebrities, including a portrait of Diana with her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry. Diana had initially agreed to write the foreword, showing her support for the cause. But at the last minute, she backed out. Why? Some claimed she was worried about upsetting the Queen, while others suggested she had second thoughts about being associated with the book's artistic choices. Elton was shocked and hurt. He knew Diana had already seen the book and even expressed her love for it. Feeling betrayed, he wrote her a strongly worded letter, reminding her how much her withdrawal had cost the charity. Instead of a personal response, Diana sent back a formal letter, starting with, "Dear Mr. John." This wasn't the warm, friendly Diana he knew. It was a cold, distant message that felt like a final goodbye. Elton was heartbroken. He feared Diana was pushing away those who truly cared for her, surrounding herself with people who only told her what she wanted to hear. Their friendship seemed broken beyond repair, until tragedy brought them back together. In July 1997, the world was shaken by the tragic passing of Gianni Versace. Elton, one of Gianni's closest friends, was devastated. But in the midst of his grief, something unexpected happened. His phone rang. It was Diana. Even though they hadn't spoken in months, she reached out immediately, checking on him. "Have you spoken to Donatella?" she asked, referring to Gianni's sister. It was clear, despite their fallout, she still cared deeply for him. For Elton, this moment meant everything. Their argument suddenly felt meaningless. Diana apologized, calling their disagreement a silly falling out. She told him she missed their friendship and wanted them to be close again. Just like that, their bond was restored. They even made plans to meet in London soon. But before that could happen, fate intervened in the most devastating way possible. Just 6 weeks later, Elton woke up to a disturbing fax from a friend in London. The message was brief, but full of sorrow. Confused, he turned on the television, and that's when the reality hit. Diana was gone. Elton was in disbelief. Just weeks earlier, they had reconciled. They were supposed to meet again, but now that moment would never come. As the world mourned, Elton was asked to do something he never imagined: perform at her funeral. But there was a problem. The royal family wasn't sure about it. They feared the performance might be too emotional. Behind closed doors, discussions took place, and a backup musician was even considered in case Elton's tribute was rejected. However, one man stood up for him, Reverend Dr. Wesley Carr. He urged the royal household to allow Elton's tribute, arguing that the song represented the modern world Diana stood for. In the end, Elton was given the green light, and what happened next became one of the most unforgettable moments in royal history. On September 6, 1997, the world stood still. As thousands gathered at Westminster Abbey and millions watched from their homes, Elton John sat at the piano. The church was silent as he began playing Candle in the Wind, a song originally written about Marilyn Monroe, but now rewritten in Diana's honor. The lyrics had changed, reflecting Diana's life, kindness, and the impact she left behind. It was a song that captured the pain of the moment, and as Elton played, even the toughest hearts broke. But what struck Elton the most wasn't the crowd. It was William and Harry. Just 15 and 12 years old, they sat there looking completely shattered. How could they be expected to stay composed in a moment like this? Elton later admitted that performing that song was the hardest thing he had ever done, but he knew it wasn't about him. It was about giving Diana the farewell she deserved. Following the funeral, Candle in the Wind, 1997 became the best-selling single of all time, selling over 33 million copies worldwide. But not everyone in the royal family was pleased. Some senior royals felt that the song was too sentimental, too raw, and too personal for a royal tribute. Behind closed doors, there were talks of banning it altogether. But the public had already decided. The song became Diana's anthem, playing on radio stations, at memorials, and in the hearts of millions who loved her. Even today, whenever it's played, it takes people back to that emotional farewell, reminding the world of Diana's legacy. After Diana's passing, Elton John made it his mission to ensure her legacy would never be forgotten. Though their time together had been filled with laughter, music, and deep conversations, her sudden loss left an undeniable void in his heart. But rather than letting grief consume him, Elton turned his pain into purpose. One of the most visible ways he honored Diana was through his continued connection with her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry. Despite the distance between the royal family and the entertainment world, Elton remained a close ally and friend to them. He knew that Diana's greatest love in life was her children, and he wanted to ensure they felt supported, especially as they grew into adulthood. In 2007, a decade after Diana's passing, William and Harry organized a massive tribute concert in her honor at Wembley Stadium. They invited some of the biggest artists in the world to perform, but there was one person they knew had to be there: Elton John. When Elton took the stage, emotions ran high. He played Your Song, a track that had been special to both him and Diana. It was a beautiful, heartfelt moment, one that reminded the world of the bond they had shared. William and Harry personally thanked him for being part of the tribute, showing that even after all these years, their mother's friendship with Elton still meant something deeply personal to them. But Elton's dedication to Diana's memory didn't stop there. Over the years, he continued speaking out in her defense, especially when he saw history repeating itself. Diana was one of the first royals to publicly support AIDS awareness, famously holding hands with a patient at a time when there was widespread misinformation and fear. She used her platform to humanize those affected, and her efforts made a huge impact on public perception. Elton, who had already been involved in AIDS activism, took this mission even further after her passing. Through the Elton John AIDS Foundation, he has raised over $300 million for research, treatment, and education. In many ways, this work carries on what Diana started. And while Elton's life has changed over the years, one thing has remained constant: his love and admiration for Diana. Whether through music, activism, or personal connections, he continues to ensure that her spirit lives on. Their friendship was filled with joy, heartache, and unforgettable moments. Even through misunderstandings and time apart, Elton and Diana always found their way back to each other. And in the end, Elton gave her a farewell that the world will never forget. What do you think about their friendship? Did Diana's impact on Elton shape his life more than we realize? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story, check out our next video. You won't want to miss it.